Hi, welcome to this Corbettmaths video on simple interest. In this video, we're going to look at what simple interest is, and we're going to look at how to answer some typical questions on it. So first of all, what is simple interest? So if we were to put some money into a savings account that paid simple interest, we would receive the same amount of interest every single year. Certain types of bank accounts pay simple interest and certain types of savings accounts will pay compound interest, and that's another video on Corbettmaths. So simple interest can be used for certain types of savings accounts and maybe situations where it involves loans being paid back and things like that. So simple interest is where the same amount of interest is added every single year. So here we've got our first question. So our first question says £300 is invested for 2 years at 4% interest, or 4% per year simple interest. Work out the total interest. So first of all, we know that £300 being invested and for 2 years at 4% per year simple interest. So what we know is that 4% of 300 will be paid for both of those years that money is invested. So first of all, we need to work out what 4% of £300 is. So let's work out what 1% is. 1% of £300. So to find 1%, we divide by 100, and that would be £3. So that means that 1% of £300 is £3. And to find what 4% of £300 would be, we just times that by 4. So 3 times 4 is £12. So that means that because this is a simple interest savings account, we know that £12 is going to be paid every single year. So we know it's invested for 2 years, so we're going to do 12 times by 2, and that would give us £24. So that means that if this £300 was invested for 2 years at 4% simple interest, the total amount the bank would pay the person who invested it would be £24. And that's it. If the question was worded slightly differently, and instead of it asking what work out the total interest, and it said how much money would there be at the end of the 2 years, we would add the £24 onto the 300 and say the answer would be £324 for the total amount that would be how much money there would be at the end of the 2 years. But the question just were asked you for the total interest, and that would be £24. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So next question says Sean invests £6,500 in a bank account for 4 years, and the bank account pays simple interest. It's very important that you see that simple interest of 1.3% per annum. Per annum is another term for per year. It just means the same thing, per year, per annum. Work out the total amount of money Sean has in the account at the end of the 4 years. So this one we are working out the total, not just the interest. So we know that the simple interest is 1.3% per annum. So we're going to need to work out what 1.3% of 6,500 is. And this is a calculator question. So we're going to take our 6,500 and we're going to divide it by 100 to work out what 1% is, which would be £65. And then we're going to take our £65 and times it by 1.3 to work out what 1.3% would be. So 65 times by 1.3 is equal to 84.5. So 84 that's 0.5, so we're going to write it, because it's a money question with the pence, so it's £84.50. So that's how much interest is earned each year, but it's invested for 4 years. So we're going to multiply that £84.50 by 4 to see how much interest is earned over the whole 4 years. So we're going to do £84.50 multiplied by 4, and when we do that times by 4, we get that's £338. So that's £338. So that's the total amount of interest Sean will earn by the end of the 4 years. But the question says work out the total amount of money Sean has in the account at the end of the 4 years. So we're going to take our 6,500 and we're going to add on that interest of £338, and then that will tell us our answer, which will be equal to £6,838, and that's it. So that's it. So simple interest is where the same amount of interest is earned every single year.